both, I guess, personal and also as a Korean. I grew up, born and raised in South Korea. My family members got separated by the war and taken to the north. So there was a personal motivation. But then as a writer, when I first went in 2002, I couldn't believe the world that existed there and the fact that you just can't see the truth. So I went repeatedly under different pretexts, and I realized the only choice was to actually go total immersion, live there. It's the only way I'm going to find any truth about the place.
I mean, it puzzles me a little bit that since you are Korean, you speak Korean, that they let you in the first place.
I went with this group that was setting up a private school, a very special school for the sons of elite. So they were building the school. School opened at the end of 2010. So I had been, applying to go with that group. When that group
and
invited
the group
me,
knew what you wanted to do.
The group did not know that I wanted to write a book. North Korea is not a place you can say, "Can I go and write a book to reveal the truth about you?" They don't allow investigation. So I had to pose as a teacher to go with a group.
And presumably, given that your ambition was to write a book, you wanted to make notes, or you wanted to try and... You couldn't remember all of it, I assume. Was that a dangerous thing, to be writing down or keeping notes of what you saw?
It's a dangerous place, because people are watching you always. So, yes, the notes were in secret, because I guess if they were found, then I would have been, painted as, I guess, that's a spying act.
So what is life like in North Korea?
I found it just full of fear, and I also found it, it's only about the great leader, nothing else exists. He's on every wall, he's the only topic of every song, every television program, every newspaper article. I spent months and months with these young men, aged 19 and 20, and literally nothing else exists. And their life was really in order to serve their nation, but if they didn't, whatever the punishment was, it was so great that they really couldn't express themselves.
I mean, would you describe them as being brainwashed?
No, I don't know if brainwashed is the right word. I think it's more, I also really love these kids. They were 19. I lived with them. None of us were ever allowed out. I just felt like they were abused. It was an abused, if you think of it as an abused household, where they're just not allowed out, they're not allowed to see anything, allowed to know anything, and the communication method is just cut off. They don't even know the internet.
I mean, most people are not getting an education, though, as I understand it.
Well, they're only getting the education about the great leader. The title of my book is "Without You, There Is No Us," and that's a song my students sang almost every day. And clearly, without you, the great leader, there is no us.
And do they love him? Do they believe in him?
I thought a lot of them did, even if there were even remotest doubts about him. He's still their God, he's still their father figure. That's what the great leader is. So if he has created the world you live in, he's the basis for everything. And I think that was really a heartbreaking thing, and it's ultimately why I went there to write a book to humanize that world, so we know a little more. We don't have any unfiltered portraits coming out of North Korea because of the control of that government.
And bearing in mind their closed access to information, how could you teach them? I mean, what could you teach them? How great the great leader was?
I had to get permission for everything. So I had to get it approved by the North Korean staff. But when you are a reading teacher, I would assign letters to show them how to do critical thinking, for example, through essay writing, or letters would reveal their personal world a little bit. So I think that through our discussion, also I ate with them every meals. So when you eat with someone 3 meals a day, even if the conversation is censored, you begin to get to know each other. And I think through that humanity, I was getting glimpses of their world, and perhaps they were sensing things were different.
What do you think is going to happen to North Korea?
I'm not very hopeful, because I think that control is so brutal. I think the change that we are expecting of North Korea has to come from the outside world, us, I think.